This video looks at the all queue in more detail. I've got the system in the social layout so that we can see what we're doing, but all the information I'm telling you works so long as you have the messages tab in whichever view you're using. So this section allows you to see all of the social media messages that are coming into your program and also lets you update statuses while you're on air. Depending on what you've got configured on your system, you'll see Twitter, Facebook, text messages, email, Instagram. Anything that's got an open API is something that can, in theory, be connected to your system. On this test system at the moment, I've got a Twitter account, some text messages and a Facebook account, but you could have a lot more than that. I can see which is what by looking down the side. So Twitter's got the blue colour, text messages are in pink, and then Facebook messages will be in the usual Facebook blue. There aren't any in here at the moment. If I click on a message, it will go black. So this counter at the top tells me how many unread messages I have, and if I click on a message, that shows the system that I've read it, and it will move the counter down. Like so. If a message has got the paperclip attachment, that means that there's a photograph with it. So I can click into the message and I can see whatever the photo is. I can either carry on scrolling and keep this message up here, which is useful if I'm on a touch screen and I just want to see some other messages, or I can press the back button to go into the main queue. If you see a message that's got a little stack behind it, like this one here, that means that there's a thread. So if you click onto it, you'll be able to see all of the replies. When we're in the main all queue, you have all the options for what you can do down the side, which is explained in the overview video, and also we can go into in more depth in separate videos. And when you click onto a message, that menu changes and it will do different things depending on what type of message is in your queue. So, for example, the back button simply allows you to go back to the main list. The on-air button lets you put the message into the on-air queue. So depending on how you've got things set up, that can either mean that your presenter can then see it, or if you're the person who's doing the presenting as well, that means that you can highlight the messages that you want to read out later on and keep them all in one place. You'll notice that anything that's in the on-air queue goes the same amber colour as the highlight around the edges so that you know it's there. The publish button will have different options depending on what you've got configured on your system. Some places won't use it at all. If you've got a virtual director system, you might be able to put the tweet directly onto the live stream if you want by pressing this button. The route button lets you send the message by email to different departments at your station. For example, news, the travel team, or to management if they really need to see a message quickly. The respond button for a tweet lets you reply or retweet the message or mark it as a favourite, and you just reply in the normal way and click tick for it to happen. To retweet, you press the retweet button and to favourite, you simply press the favourite, and then each time don't forget to press the green tick. The block button allows you to block that user from appearing in your show's feed, and you can choose whether that's permanently or whether that's just a 24-hour ban. I'm not going to block this person though. History is very useful because you can see how frequently they message the programme. And then Edit allows you to edit the text so that it appears differently in the on-air queue. It will always keep the original for compliance purposes, but sometimes it can be a little bit hard to read messages out because of all the ats and the hashtags and the SMS speak. So you can edit the text, not to change what someone's saying, but just to make it easier for your presenter to read out on air. To save the change, you can either press the tick or press the on-air button to put that change into the on-air queue. You'll notice that if I bring up a Facebook message instead of a tweet, the menu at the side's a little bit different. The back button's the same, the on-air queue's the same, the publish is the same, the route is the same. The respond, however, is a bit different because you can't retweet a Facebook status, so it just allows you to add a comment below. And that will then publish onto your Facebook page. For texts, you'll see that you don't have the option to reply, but you do have the option to call, which is really useful because you can simply ring someone back, as it's a phone system as well as a social media system, assuming you've got the lines configured, and then you can see if you need to find out some more information or if you can persuade them to go on air instead of merely having their text read out. If not, as before, you can still put their message into the on-air queue and edit it for clarity if necessary. So the thing to remember is that all of the messages will come in to this all queue. You can see if you have any unread messages. If you want to, you can press and mark everything as read so that you don't get distracted by that unless you want to be. All of your messages come in at the top. Anything that's in the on-air queue will show as being this yellow amber colour. Anything that you have clicked on will change to being a black colour at the side. And the context menu at the side changes depending on the type of message that you have got highlighted. You can continue, especially if you're on a touchscreen, to scroll up and down the rest of the all queue while you're still looking at the message that's been highlighted, and to get back to the all queue at any time, just click the back button. So that's an in-depth look at the all queue. Hope that was useful, and I'll see you in the next video.